Close your eyes and let yourself drift with me. Tonight I'm going to tell you about a dressing room. Not just any dressing room, but the dressing room. The one that's been waiting for you. The one that knows who you are and who you're becoming. But we'll get there. First, let me tell you about the theater. It's a Wednesday evening in late autumn and you're walking through a part of the city you don't usually visit. The streets here are older, narrower. The kind of streets where the buildings lean in close, where the street lamps cast golden pools of light on rain-slicked cobblestones, and where you can still see the old painted signs on brick walls advertising hat shops and dance studios that closed decades ago. You're not quite sure how you ended up here. You'd been walking aimlessly after work trying to clear your head. There'd been a meeting that didn't go well. An email that stung more than it should have. The usual small disappointments that accumulate like dust, making everything feel a little grayer, a little heavier. So you'd walked. And walked. And somehow your feet brought you here. The air smells like rain and old leaves. There's a slight chill, the kind that makes you pull your coat a little tighter. Shop windows glow softly. An antique store with a lamp in the window. A bookshop that looks like it might be closed but the lights are still on. A cafe with steamed-up windows and the shadow of someone reading inside. And then you see it. The theater. It rises up between two shorter buildings, its facade elegant and faded. The marquee letters spell out a name you don't recognize. Something foreign or old-fashioned or perhaps both. Most of the bulbs around the marquee are dark, but a few still glow, giving the whole entrance a dreamy, half-lit quality, like something from an old photograph. There's a poster in a glass case beside the door. The glass is a little cloudy, the poster edges curled with age, but you can make out the image. A woman in a gown mid-dance, her face tilted up toward light you can't see. The text is too faded to read, but there's a date at the bottom. A date from 40 years ago. You stand there looking at it. Looking at her. Something about her expression catches you. Looks hopeful. Radiant. Like she knows something wonderful is about to happen. You don't know why, but you reach for the door handle. It's one of those old brass handles, tarnished and heavy. You expect it to be locked. Theaters like this are always locked, aren't they? Especially on a random Wednesday evening, especially when they look like this. Like beautiful, forgotten things. But when you press down, the handle gives. The door opens. And you step inside. The lobby is dark except for a single chandelier, its crystals catching what little light filters through from the street. The air smells like velvet and dust and something else. Something faint and sweet. Perfume maybe. Old perfume, the kind women wore when this theater was new. The carpet beneath your feet is plush and patterned, deep burgundy with gold. Your footsteps make no sound. There's a curved staircase leading up to the balcony level, its banister smooth and dark. Gilt-framed mirrors line the walls, reflecting your silhouette, making the space feel larger, more mysterious. You should probably leave. This is clearly not open. Someone forgot to lock the door, that's all. But you don't leave. Instead, you move deeper into the lobby, drawn by a light coming from somewhere. A warm, golden light spilling out from a corridor to your left. You follow it. The corridor is narrow, lined with more photographs. Production stills from shows that played here, you assume. Women in elaborate costumes, men in tuxedos, group shots of entire casts grinning at the camera. Their faces are bright with excitement, with pride. The light grows stronger as you walk. It's coming from a door at the end of the corridor. A door that's slightly ajar. You reach it. Pause. Silence. You push the door open. And there it is. The dressing room. It's smaller than you expected but somehow more beautiful. The walls are painted a soft, dusty rose. There's a large mirror framed in lights, old-fashioned round bulbs, the kind you've seen in movies, and beneath it, a vanity scattered with forgotten things. A powder compact, its lid slightly open. A tube of lipstick uncapped. A string of pearls draped over the corner of the mirror. A folded program. A vase with a single silk rose, faded but still elegant. The chair in front of the vanity has a velvet cushion, emerald green, worn smooth in the center where someone sat night after night, preparing to go on stage. There's a clothing rack against one wall, holding a few garments shrouded in garment bags. A small side table with a crystal dish full of hairpins. A framed photograph. A woman in her dressing gown laughing, holding a bouquet of flowers. And everywhere the scent. That same perfume from the lobby but stronger here. Warmer. It smells like roses and amber and something you can't quite name. Something that makes you think of confidence, of beauty, of being absolutely certain of who you are. You step inside. The door closes softly behind you. Not with a slam, not ominously, just a quiet click like the room is welcoming you in and doesn't want to be disturbed. You move toward the vanity, drawn by the mirror. The lights around it are on. You don't remember them being on when you first looked through the doorway, but they are now. Warm and golden, casting a flattering glow. You sit down in the velvet chair. And you look at yourself. Strange, looking at your reflection in this mirror, in this light. Look. Different. Not different in a dramatic way. Not transformed. His softer. Clearer. Like you've come into focus somehow. The day's exhaustion is still there in your face, but it looks less heavy. Your eyes look brighter even though you're tired. There's something in your expression you don't usually see. A kind of quiet possibility. You notice the objects on the vanity more closely now. The powder compact is beautiful, silver engraved with an Art Deco pattern of peacock feathers. You pick it up, feel its weight. Inside the powder is still intact, pressed smooth, barely used. The puff is silk, discolored with age but still soft. The lipstick is a deep, classic red. The kind of red that makes you think of movie premieres and love letters and knowing exactly what you want. The pearls are cool when you touch them, their surface smooth and luminous even in this light. And the program, you unfold it carefully. It's from a show that played here in 1983. A musical you've never heard of, something original, something that probably only ran for a few weeks. The cast list is full of names you don't recognize. But there's one name circled in pencil. Margot Wilde. Next to it, someone has written in the margin in elegant script. You were luminous tonight. You look up at the photograph on the side table. The laughing woman with the flowers. Is that her? Margot? You can't tell for certain. The photo is old, a little out of focus. But there's something about her smile, the way she's laughing fully and without self-consciousness, that makes you feel like you know her. Like she'd understand you. You set the program down and lean back in the chair, looking at yourself in the mirror again. What were you like? You whisper to the empty room. To Margot, whoever she was. Did you always know? That you were meant to be here doing this? The room doesn't answer, of course. But the silence feels gentle. Listening. You close your eyes for a moment and you can almost imagine it. What it must have been like to sit here night after night, preparing to step out onto a stage. To become someone else, or maybe to become more fully yourself. To hear the audience settling into their seats beyond the walls. The orchestra tuning, the stage manager calling places. To know that in a few minutes, you'd step into the lights and everything else would fall away. All the doubt, all the worry, all the small disappointments of regular life. And for those hours, you'd be exactly who you were meant to be. Powerful. Certain. You open your eyes. And in the mirror just for a moment you see something. Not a ghost. Nothing frightening. Just a flicker. A shimmer in the air beside your reflection, like heat rising from pavement, like the air itself is remembering something. And then it's gone. Your heart beats a little faster. But you're not scared. Just curious. You stand up slowly and turn to look at the clothing rack. The garment bags are old, the plastic yellowed and slightly cloudy. You can see the shapes of the garments inside. The silhouette of a gown, the shoulder line of a jacket, the drape of something long and flowing. You reach out and touch the zipper of the first bag. It slides down easily, smoothly, like it's been waiting. Inside is a dress. And oh, it's beautiful. It's made of silk, deep midnight blue silk that seems to hold light in its folds. The neckline is elegant, the waist fitted, the skirt full enough to move beautifully but not so full that it's costume-y. It's the kind of dress that looks like it belongs on someone important. Someone who knows who she is. There's a little tag sewn inside. You turn it toward the light. Margot Wilde. Act 2. You should put it back. You should zip up the bag and leave this room and this theater and go home to your regular life. But you don't. Instead, you take the dress off the hanger. It's heavier than you expected. Real silk, lined, beautifully made. The kind of garment someone spent hours constructing. The kind of garment made to be seen, to be remembered. You hold it up to yourself and look in the mirror. And for a moment, just a moment, you see it. Not yourself as you are, but yourself as you could be. Standing taller. Chin lifted. Eyes bright with certainty. The woman you're becoming. You hang the dress carefully back on the rack. Not because you're afraid to try it on, but because you're not quite ready yet. Some transformations can't be rushed. You sit back down at the vanity. The mirror's lights seem warmer now, and the room feels less empty. It feels like it's keeping you company. Like it remembers all the women who sat here before you. Margot and others, actresses and understudies and women who never made it past the chorus but loved it anyway. Women who came here and became who they were meant to be. You reach for the lipstick. The cap comes off with a soft click. The color inside is still perfect, rich and red and absolutely certain. You lean forward, looking at your reflection, and slowly, carefully you apply it. The texture is smooth, creamy. It glides on like silk. Like a promise. When you press your lips together and look at yourself, you almost don't recognize the woman looking back. Folks, awake. Present. Like she's been waiting for this moment. Like she knows something you're just beginning to remember. You sit there for a long moment looking at yourself in the red lipstick. At the way it changes your face. Not dramatically but definitely. The way it makes you look like someone who makes choices. Someone who knows what she wants. You reach for the pearls. They're cool in your hands, surprisingly heavy. Real pearls, you think. Not costume jewelry. Someone's treasured possession, left here like an offering. You fasten them around your neck. The clasp is a little tricky. Your fingers fumble with it once, twice before it clicks into place. The pearls settle against your collarbone, their weight both foreign and oddly right. In the mirror you look different now. More finished. More intentional. Like you're preparing for something. But what? You glance around the dressing room again, taking in details you missed before. There's a small bookshelf in the corner, crammed with worn paperbacks and play scripts. A tea kettle on a hot plate that probably hasn't worked in decades. A corkboard on the wall covered in pinned notes, Polaroids, ticket stubs. The archaeology of a life lived in this room. You stand and move closer to the corkboard. The photographs are faded, colors shifted to that particular warmth old Polaroids get. There's Margot, you're sure it's her now, in different costumes, different productions. Always smiling. Always with that particular brightness in her eyes, like she was exactly where she belonged. For notes too. Some typed on letterhead from the theater management, some handwritten on torn scraps of paper. Margot, you were transcendent tonight. J. Don't forget, blocking changes for the waltz scene. Your flowers are at the stage door. He's persistent, I'll give him that. Rita. Let's get coffee Sunday? I need to hear about everything. D. Fragments of a life. Small, ordinary moments that meant everything to the person living them. You wonder what happened to her. To Margot. Did she become famous? Did she leave the theater for something else? Did she simply grow older and quieter, carrying these memories like treasures? Or is she still here somehow? Not literally, but in the way people leave traces of themselves in the places they loved. In the way a room can hold the shape of someone's dreams. There's a sound, distant, muffled, like music playing somewhere far away in the building. You turn toward the door, listening. It's faint, but it's definitely there. Piano music. Something classical, something you half recognize. The kind of music that feels like it's always existed, like it's been playing somewhere in the world since the beginning of time. You move to the door and open it. The corridor outside is darker than you remember. The photographs on the walls are harder to see now, their faces obscured by shadow. But the music is clearer out here. It's coming from deeper in the theater. From the direction of the stage, maybe. You should probably leave now. You've been here too long already, trespassing in this closed theater, sitting in someone else's dressing room. But that music sounds like an invitation. You follow it. The corridor curves, leading you past other dressing rooms, their doors closed, their windows dark. Past a props closet with its door slightly ajar, revealing shelves of mysterious objects. Past a call board with yellowed papers still pinned to it, their text too faded to read. The music grows louder. You reach a junction where the corridor splits. To the left, a staircase leading down into darkness. To the right, a set of double doors. The music is coming from beyond those doors. You push them open. And you step into the wings of the stage. It's darker here. The backstage area is all shadows and strange shapes. Flats leaning against walls, ropes hanging from the fly system above, the hulking shapes of lights on their booms, all cold and dark. But beyond the wings, the stage itself is lit. Not brightly, just a single spotlight, coming from somewhere up in the catwalks, illuminating a circle of stage in soft, warm gold. And in that circle of light there's a piano. An old upright, its wood dark and slightly battered. Someone is sitting at it, playing. You can't see them clearly, they're mostly in silhouette, backlit by the spotlight. But you can see their posture, the way their hands move over the keys. Confident. Practiced. Like they've played this piece 1,000 times and could play it 1,000 more. The music is beautiful. Melancholy but not sad. Nostalgic but not mournful. Sounds like remembering something precious. Like touching something you thought you'd lost and discovering it was there all along. You stand in the wings, hardly breathing, listening. And then the figure at the piano speaks. Are you going to hide there all night, or are you going to come out? The voice is warm. Mused. Female. Not young but not old either. Ageless the way some voices are. You freeze. I don't bite, the voice continues, still playing. And you've come this far. Seems a shame to stop now. Slowly, carefully you step out from the wings onto the stage. The figure at the piano turns slightly, just enough that you can see her profile. She's wearing a silk robe, deep emerald green, like the cushion in the dressing room chair. Her hair is pinned up loosely, a few strands escaping. In the spotlight, she looks both real and not real. Present and remembered. She smiles. "There you are," she says. "I wondered when you'd come." You don't know what to say. Your mouth opens, closes. "I'm sorry," you finally manage. "I didn't mean to, I shouldn't be here. The door was open and I know," she says gently, her hands still moving over the keys, the music continuing like a heartbeat. "The door is always open. For the ones who need to find this place." She plays a few more measures, then lets the music fade into silence. The quiet that follows is soft, expectant. She turns on the piano bench to face you fully. And you see her clearly now. She's beautiful, but not in a conventional way. Not in a way that demands attention. She's beautiful the way certain light is beautiful. The way a perfectly spoken sentence is beautiful. Her face has lines. Laugh lines, lifelines. Her eyes are dark and bright and seem to see right through you, not in a frightening way but in a way that makes you feel known. "You found my dressing room," she says. It's not a question. You nod. "Are you Margot?" Her smile deepens. "I was once. A long time ago." She stands, the silk robe flowing around her. "And you are." You tell her your name. It sounds strange in this space, your ordinary name in this extraordinary place. "Beautiful," she says like she means it. Every name is beautiful when the person wearing it knows who they are. She moves across the stage with the grace of someone who's spent a lifetime on stages. Not performative grace. Natural grace. The kind that comes from being completely comfortable in your own body. "Do you know who you are?" she asks, stopping a few feet away from you, her head tilted slightly. The question catches you off guard. I think so," you say. But even as you say it, you know it's not quite true. Or not the whole truth. Margot's expression is kind. Understanding. "That's why you're here." She gestures to the stage around you. "Do you know what this place is?" You look around. "A theater?" "Yes. But not just any theater." She walks to the edge of the spotlight where the light fades into shadow. "This is a place between who you were and who you're becoming. Between the ordinary world and the one you're meant for." He turns back to you. "Every woman who's ever stepped onto this stage, every actress, every singer, every dancer, came here carrying a question. The same question you're carrying." "What question?" you whisper. "Who am I when no one's watching? Who am I when I'm brave enough to become her?" The words hang in the air like the last notes of the piano music. "The dressing room," Margot continues, moving back toward you, "shows you glimpses. Little pieces of who you could be. The lipstick that makes you feel certain. The dress that makes you stand taller. The pearls that remind you that you're worthy of beautiful things." She's standing close to you now. You can smell her perfume, that same scent from the dressing room. Roses and amber and confidence. "But that's just the beginning," she says softly. "The real transformation happens here." She places her hand gently over your heart. Her touch is warm. In here. When you decide to believe it, you feel something shift inside you. Not a dramatic change. Just a settling. Like something that's been slightly out of place for a long time is finally clicking into position. "What do I do?" you ask. Margot smiles. You stay. You listen. You let this place show you what it wants you to see. She steps back and extends her hand. "Come. There's more to show you." You take her hand. Her fingers are warm, strong. And she leads you deeper into the theater. You walk together through the backstage area, through corridors you didn't notice before. Margot doesn't hurry. She walks like someone who has all the time in the world. Like someone who knows that some things can't be rushed. This theater, she says as you walk, has been here for almost 100 years. So many women have passed through these halls. Some became famous. Most didn't. But all of them, every single one, left something of themselves here. She pauses by a wall covered in signatures. Names written in fading marker, in lipstick, in scratched pencil. Dates spanning decades. Their dreams, Margot says. Their hopes. Their moments of absolute certainty that they were exactly where they needed to be. You reach out and touch one of the signatures. The wall is cool beneath your fingertips. What happened to them all, you ask. They lived, Margot says simply. Some stayed in the theater. Some went on to other things. But they all carried this place with them. The memory of what it felt like to be seen. To be celebrated. To know, even if just for a moment, that they were extraordinary. He looks at you. That's what this place does. It reminds you what it feels like to be extraordinary. So you can carry that feeling out into the regular world. So you can remember it on the hard days. You keep walking. He brings you to another room. Smaller than the dressing room, more intimate. There's a window here, tall and arched, overlooking the city. The lights outside are beautiful, golden and white and shimmering. There's a chaise longue beneath the window, upholstered in dusty rose velvet. A small table beside it with a lamp, a book, reading glasses. This was my retreat, Margot says. When the dressing room felt too busy, too full of who I was supposed to be on stage, I'd come here. And I'd just be. She sits on the chaise, curls her legs under her, looks incredibly at home. She pats the space beside her. You sit. From here the view is breathtaking. You can see the city sprawling out in all directions, lights twinkling like earthbound stars. You can see the shape of your regular life out there somewhere, but from here it looks different. Smaller. More manageable. More beautiful. Tell me, Margot says quietly, what you're afraid of. The question surprises you. You open your mouth to say, nothing, or, I'm fine, or one of the other automatic responses you usually give. But something about this place, about her, about the gentle darkness and the city lights and the way this moment feels both real and dreamlike, makes you tell the truth. I'm afraid, you say slowly, that I've been pretending for so long that I've forgotten who I really am. Or that maybe I never knew in the first place. Margot nods like this is the most natural thing in the world to admit. I'm afraid, you continue, the words coming easier now, that the life I'm living is just a draft. A rough version. And somewhere there's a better version, a truer version, and I'm somehow missing it. Missing her. The woman you're meant to be, Margot says softly. Yes. You both sit in silence for a moment. The city glows beyond the window. Can I tell you something? Margot asks. You nod. That woman, the one you're meant to be? She turns to look at you, her eyes bright. She's not somewhere else. She's not in the future waiting for you to find her. He's here. Right now. She's been here all along. She reaches over and touches your hand. You just have to stop being afraid of her. Stop thinking she's someone you have to become and start realizing she's who you already are. Under all the fear and the doubt and the trying to be what everyone else needs. Her words settle over you like a soft blanket. Like a truth you've always known but never let yourself believe. How do I do that, you whisper. Margot smiles. You practice. You try on different versions of her until you find the one that fits. That's what this place is for. That's what the dressing room does. She stands, pulling you gently to your feet. Come, she says. Let me show you something. Margot leads you back through the corridors, but this time you notice things you missed before. Small details that seem to glow softly in the dim light. A pair of dance shoes hanging by their ribbons from a hook. The ribbons are pink, faded to the color of old roses, and they sway slightly as you pass, though there's no breeze. A framed playbill from 1956, the glass catching the light. The Starlight Waltz, it reads, and beneath it a quote, "A evening of enchantment not to be missed." A mirror on the wall, its frame carved with flowers and birds. As you pass it, you catch a glimpse of yourself, still wearing the red lipstick, still wearing the pearls, and for a moment you look like you belong here. Like you've always belonged here. Margot notices you looking. That mirror, she says, has reflected thousands of faces. Actresses getting into character. Dancers checking their form. Singers finding their breath before stepping on stage. She pauses. But do you know what it really reflects? You shake your head. Courage, she says simply. Every person who's ever looked into that mirror was about to do something brave. About to step into the light and be seen. The mirror remembers that. It shows it back to you. You look at your reflection again. And yes, there it is. Something in your eyes that wasn't there this morning. Something steady. Present. Brave. Margot brings you to a different part of the backstage. Here the ceiling is higher, the space more open. Costume racks line the walls, holding garments from dozens of different productions. Evening gowns and day dresses, coats and capes, pieces of different lives, different stories. Every costume, Margot says, running her hand along the rack, is an invitation. An invitation to try on a different version of yourself. To see what it feels like to move through the world as someone confident or mysterious or playful or powerful. She pulls out a garment, a long coat in deep charcoal wool with a belt at the waist. Simple, elegant, the kind of coat a woman wears when she's walking through the city at dusk with somewhere important to be. Try it on, Margot says, holding it out to you. You hesitate. I'm already wearing. The pearls in the lipstick, I know, Margot says with a smile. This is an addition. Not instead of. You don't have to choose just one version of yourself, darling. You can be all of them. You slip your arms into the coat. It's heavier than you expected, beautifully lined, and it fits perfectly. The belt cinches at your waist, and when you move, the coat swirls slightly around you. Margot steps back, appraising. Beautiful. Now walk for me. Walk. Across the room. Walk like you're wearing that coat in the city. Like you have somewhere to be. Someone to meet. Something important to do. You feel self-conscious at first, but you begin to walk. And as you do, something shifts. Your spine straightens. Your shoulders settle back. Your stride lengthens, becomes more purposeful. You're not shuffling or hurrying. You're walking like someone who knows where she's going. Like someone who belongs wherever she ends up. When you reach the other side of the room and turn back, Margot is smiling. Do you feel it? She asks. And you do. You feel different. More solid. More real. The coat doesn't change you, Margot says. It just reminds you of who you already are. Someone capable. Someone worthy of taking up space in the world. You run your hands down the front of the coat, feeling its weight, its quality. What if I forget? You ask quietly. What if I leave here and go back to my regular life and forget how this feels? Margot walks over to you, takes both your hands in hers. That's why you'll come back. Come back. Not literally, she says. Though you could if you needed to. But what I mean is, you'll come back here. She touches your temple gently. In your mind. In your memory. When you need to remember who you are, you'll close your eyes and you'll see this place. This dressing room. This stage. And you'll remember. She squeezes your hands once, then releases them. That's the real magic. Not the theater itself, but what you carry away from it. She leads you to yet another space. This one is clearly a rehearsal room. Wooden floors, a bar along one wall, mirrors covering another. There's a record player in the corner, and beside it, a stack of old vinyl records in their paper sleeves. Dance with me, Margot says. You laugh, surprised. I don't really dance. I mean, not well. Neither did I when I started, Margot says, already moving toward the record player. But I learned. Not because I wanted to be perfect, but because I wanted to feel free. She selects a record, slides it from its sleeve with the kind of care that suggests she's done this 1,000 times. The record is old, the label faded, but you can make out the title. Moonlight Serenade. She places it on the turntable, lowers the needle. There's a crackle, a hiss, and then the music begins. Soft, orchestral, the kind of music that makes you think of grand ballrooms and women in gowns and nights that last forever. Margot holds out her hand. You take it. She pulls you gently into the center of the room. Don't worry about steps, she says. Just move. Feel the music and move. At first you're awkward. Self-conscious. You're thinking too much. About where your feet should go, about whether you look foolish, about all the ways you might be doing this wrong. But Margot is patient. She guides you gently, her movements fluid and easy. Stop thinking, she says softly. Just feel. You close your eyes. And slowly, gradually you stop fighting it. You let the music move through you. You let yourself sway, turn, step without worrying about whether it's right or perfect. You're just moving, existing in your body, taking up space. When you open your eyes, Margot is smiling at you. There she is, she says. Who? The woman who doesn't apologize for taking up space, for being seen, for existing exactly as she is. You're both still moving, the music wrapping around you like a soft embrace. And you realize that you're smiling. That for the first time in longer than you can remember, you feel light. Not in the sense of weightless, but in the sense of unburdened. Free. The song ends. Another begins. Slower, dreamier. Margot releases your hand and steps back, letting you dance alone. You move across the floor, the coat swirling around you, the pearls cool against your skin. In the mirror you catch glimpses of yourself. Turning, stepping, arms extended. You look graceful. You look alive. You look like someone you'd want to know. Margot watches from the side of the room, her expression soft. Proud almost. Like a teacher watching a student finally understand something important. When the second song fades, you slow, coming to a stop in the center of the room. You're slightly breathless, your cheeks warm. How do you feel? Margot asks. I feel. You search for the word. I feel like myself. But more. Does that make sense? Perfect sense, Margot says. That's exactly what this place does. It doesn't make you into someone new. It just turns up the volume on who you already are. She walks over, lifts the needle from the record. The silence that follows is gentle, full. Come, she says. There's one more place I want to show you. This time she leads you up. Up a narrow staircase you hadn't noticed before, the steps creaking softly under your feet. Up and up, past the main level, past the balcony, higher still. You emerge onto the theater's roof. The night air is cool and fresh after the warmth of the building. The city spreads out before you in every direction, a sea of lights. You can see other buildings, other rooftops, streets winding between them like rivers of light. From up here the city looks magical. Like anything could happen. Like every lit window holds a story, and every street leads somewhere wonderful. There's a small area up here that's been turned into a retreat. A few chairs, some potted plants that have somehow survived, fairy lights strung overhead, though most of the bulbs are dark. But a few still glow, giving the space a soft, dreamy quality. Margot sits in one of the chairs, gestures for you to take the other. You sit and for a moment you both just look at the city. I used to come up here after performances, Margot says eventually. When the theater was empty and everyone had gone home. I'd sit right here and just breathe. Come back to myself. He turns to look at you. Because that's the thing they don't tell you about becoming who you're meant to be. It's exhilarating, yes. But it's also exhausting. You need places like this. Quiet places. Places where you can rest and remember why you're doing it. Why were you doing it, you ask? Why the theater? Why acting? Margot considers this. Because for a long time I didn't know who I was. I tried on different lives, different versions of myself, trying to find one that fit. And nothing felt right. She looks out at the city. But then I found the theater. And I realized I didn't have to choose just one version of myself. I could be all of them. The ingenue and the villain. The lover and the loner. The woman who saves the day and the woman who needs saving. He looks back at you. The theater taught me that I was big enough to contain all of those contradictions. That I didn't have to be just one thing. Her words resonate somewhere deep inside you. And you, she asks gently. What are you trying to figure out? What brought you here tonight? You think about the question. About the meeting that went wrong. About the email that stung. About all the small ways you've been feeling less than, smaller than, not enough. I think. You start slowly. I've been trying so hard to be what everyone needs me to be that I forgot what I need. Who I am when no one's asking anything of me. Margot nods. And who is that? You open your mouth to answer, then close it. Because you don't know. Not completely. Not yet. But for the first time you want to find out. I don't know, you admit. But I think she's someone brave. Someone who takes up space without apologizing. Someone who wears red lipstick and pearls and walks through the city like she belongs there. Someone like the woman you've been tonight, Margot says. Yes. Then that's who you are, she says simply. Not who you'll become. Who you are. Right now. Tonight. And every night you choose to remember it. You sit together in comfortable silence, watching the city lights. A breeze stirs your hair, carries the scent of the city at night. Rain and exhaust and something green, something alive. After a while, Margot speaks again. The dressing room will always be here for you. Not this physical place necessarily, but the idea of it. The memory. Whenever you need to remember who you are, you can close your eyes and come back here. Put on the lipstick. Wear the pearls. Try on the coat. Dance in the rehearsal room. Sit on this roof and look at the lights. She turns to you, her eyes bright in the dim light. You carry the dressing room with you now. It's yours. Something swells in your chest. Gratitude maybe. Or recognition. Or simply the feeling of being understood in a way you rarely are. Thank you, you whisper. Margot smiles. Thank you for finding this place. For being brave enough to walk through that door. For staying. She stands, extends her hand to help you up. Come. I'll walk you back. You descend the stairs together, moving back through the theater. Everything looks different now. Or maybe you're different. Maybe you're seeing it all with new eyes. When you reach the dressing room again, Margot pauses in the doorway. Take your time, she says. Look around. Remember. You step inside. The lights around the vanity are still glowing warmly. The silk rose in the vase seems a bit brighter. The photograph of the laughing woman seems to be laughing just for you. You sit down at the vanity one more time. In the mirror you see yourself, still wearing the red lipstick, still wearing the pearls, the coat from the costume rack draped over the chair behind you. You look different than when you first sat here. More awake. More yourself. You carefully remove the pearls, coil them gently, and place them back on the vanity where you found them. The lipstick you cap and set beside the powder compact. These things belong here. They're not yours to take. But the memory of wearing them, that's yours forever. You stand, take one last look around the room. At the clothing rack with its treasures. At the corkboard full of memories. At the chair where you sat and saw yourself clearly for the first time in a long time. Goodbye, you whisper to the room. To Margot wherever she is. To whoever else might be listening. Thank you. The room seems to glow a little brighter as if in response. You walk to the door, step into the corridor, and make your way back to the lobby. The lobby is darker than when you first entered. The chandelier overhead has dimmed to almost nothing, just the faintest glow like candlelight about to go out. But it's enough to see by. Enough to find your way. You move slowly across the burgundy carpet, your footsteps still silent. The mirrors on the walls reflect your silhouette as you pass. And in each reflection you see something slightly different. A woman with her chin lifted. A woman with steady eyes. A woman who looks like she knows where she's going. All of them are you. You reach the front door and place your hand on the brass handle. It's cool beneath your palms, solid and real. For a moment you hesitate. Part of you doesn't want to leave. Part of you wants to turn around, walk back through those corridors, sit in that dressing room forever. Stay in this in-between place where everything feels possible, where you can be anyone, where the regular world with its disappointments and demands feels very far away. But you know you can't stay. Not physically. That's not what this place is for. So you take a breath and you push open the door. The street outside is quieter than before. Later. The rain has stopped, but the cobblestones still gleam wetly, reflecting the few street lamps that remain lit. The air is cool and fresh, carrying the scent of rain-washed pavement and distant flowers. You step out onto the sidewalk and turn to look back at the theater. The marquee lights that were glowing when you arrived are dark now. The poster in the glass case is barely visible. The building itself looks even more faded, even more forgotten than it did a few hours ago. But you know better now. You know what's inside. You know it's not forgotten at all. You stand there for a long moment, memorizing the facade. The curve of the windows. The arch of the doorway. The way the building leans slightly, as if it's been here so long it's settled into the earth like an old tree. Then you turn and begin walking. The streets are nearly empty at this hour. An occasional car passes, its headlights sweeping across the wet pavement. A few windows in the buildings above are still lit. People reading in bed perhaps, or working late, or simply unable to sleep. You pass the cafe you noticed earlier. It's closed now, chairs stacked on tables, the windows dark. But through the glass, you can see a single light on in the back, and you imagine the owner counting the day's receipts, or perhaps just sitting quietly with a cup of tea before heading home. The bookshop is dark too, but there's something comforting about seeing it there. Like a promise. Like it's saying, I'll be here tomorrow. When you need words again, when you need stories, I'll be here. You keep walking. The city changes around you as you move. The old streets give way to slightly newer ones. The buildings grow taller, more modern. More street lamps are working here, casting circles of bright LED light instead of the warm golden glow of the theater district. But you don't mind. You're carrying that golden glow with you now. Inside you. You find yourself on a wider street, one you recognize. You're not far from where you live, you realize. You must have walked in a large circle earlier when you were trying to clear your head. Wandering without direction until the city brought you to exactly where you needed to be. There's a park here, small and tidy, with benches and a fountain that's turned off for the night. You've walked past this park 100 times and barely noticed it. But tonight you sit down on one of the benches. The wood is slightly damp from the rain, but you don't mind. You sit and look up at the sky. The city lights make it hard to see stars, but you can see a few. Faint pinpricks of light breaking through the glow. You think about Margot, about the theater, about everything that happened tonight. Was it real? All of it? The question forms in your mind and then dissolves. Because it doesn't matter. Real or not real, dream or waking. What matters is how you feel right now. What you learned. Who you discovered yourself to be. And that is absolutely, undeniably real. You close your eyes and let yourself remember. The dressing room. The warmth of the lights around the mirror. The weight of the pearls against your skin. The smooth, certain feeling of red lipstick. The way the silk dress looked in your hands. Midnight blue and full of promise. The stage. The piano music. Margot's voice, warm and knowing. The way she looked at you like she could see all the way through to who you really are and liked what she saw. The rehearsal room. The music. The feeling of moving without thinking, without apologizing, without making yourself small. The roof. The city lights spreading out like a galaxy. The quiet understanding that you don't have to choose just one version of yourself. That you're big enough to contain contradictions. Brave enough to take up space. You open your eyes. The park looks the same as it did a moment ago. The fountain is still off. The trees are still bare, waiting for spring. The city around you is still humming its night song. But you're different. Not dramatically. Not in a way anyone else would notice if they saw you walking down the street tomorrow. But you feel it. A quiet shift. A settling. Like something that's been out of tune for a long time has finally found its pitch. You stand up from the bench and begin walking again. Toward home now. Purposefully. As you walk, you notice things you usually don't. The way a certain street lamp casts beautiful shadows through a tree's branches. The way a shop window display has been arranged. Books stacked artfully, a vintage typewriter, a vase of dried flowers. The way someone has left a pair of rain boots outside their door, red and cheerful. Small beauties. Small evidences that people are living their lives with intention, with care, with attention to loveliness. You've walked these streets so many times without seeing them. Without seeing anything really except the distance between where you are and where you need to be. But tonight you see. Maybe that's what the dressing room really taught you. Not how to be someone different, but how to pay attention. How to be present. How to notice the beauty and possibility that's been here all along. You reach your building. It's a perfectly ordinary building. Neither charming nor ugly, just the kind of place people live in the city. You climb the steps, unlock the door, step into the familiar hallway. The elevator is slow as always. You watch the numbers light up as you ascend. 3rd floor. 4th floor. 5th. Your floor. You walk down the hallway to your door. The carpet is worn, the wallpaper slightly faded. You've walked this hallway 1,000 times, usually thinking about what you need to do when you get inside. Emails to answer. Dishes to wash. The perpetual low hum of obligation. But tonight you just walk. Present in each step. You unlock your door and step inside. Your apartment is dark and quiet. Exactly as you left it this morning, which feels like a lifetime ago. Your coffee mug is still in the sink. Your laptop is closed on the kitchen table. Your slippers are by the door. You set down your keys, take off your coat, your regular coat, not the beautiful one from the theater, and hang it on its hook. Then you walk to your bedroom. You turn on the lamp by your bed. It casts a warm, soft glow, not unlike the lights around the dressing room mirror. You sit on the edge of your bed and look around your room. It's not a particularly special room. The furniture is practical, collected over years from various places. The art on the walls is nice but not remarkable. The whole space is fine, comfortable, functional. But tonight you see it differently. You see the book on your nightstand that you've been meaning to read. The journal you haven't opened in months. The perfume bottle on your dresser. A gift from years ago that you save for special occasions that never quite seem to materialize. You see all the small ways you've been waiting. Waiting to be ready. Waiting to be worthy. Waiting for your life to become the life you're supposed to be living before you start actually living it. And you realize, there's nothing to wait for. This is it. This is your life. Right now. Tonight. And it's yours to shape however you want. You stand and walk to your dresser. Open the top drawer. And there, tucked in the back beneath scarves you rarely wear, is a lipstick. Not red. You don't own a red lipstick. But this one is close. A deep berry color, more sophisticated than what you usually wear. You bought it on impulse months ago, tried it once, decided it was too much and tucked it away. You take it out now. You walk to your mirror. Not a dressing room mirror with lights, just a regular mirror above your dresser. And you apply the lipstick. It goes on smoothly. The color is richer than you remembered. Deeper. More certain. You look at yourself. And you think, there she is. Not someone new. Not someone you have to become. Just you. Awake. Present. No longer apologizing for taking up space. You change into your pajamas. Silk, because after tonight you're never wearing anything less than silk to bed again. You brush your teeth, wash your face, but leave the lipstick on just a little longer. Just while you settle into bed. You turn off the lamp and the room falls into gentle darkness. The kind of darkness that feels safe. Restful. You close your eyes. And in your mind you go back to the dressing room. You see it clearly. The rose-colored walls, the vanity with its lights, the velvet chair, the pearls draped over the mirror's corner. You see Margot sitting at the piano on the stage. You see the city lights from the roof. You see all of it, and you understand now that it's not somewhere you visited. Somewhere you carry with you. Always. Whenever you need to remember who you are. Whenever the world tries to make you small. Whenever you forget that you're allowed to take up space, to be seen, to exist exactly as you are, you can close your eyes and come back here. To the dressing room. To yourself. You pull the covers up, settle into your pillow. The sheets are cool and smooth against your skin. Tomorrow you'll wake up and the regular world will still be there. The job with its frustrations. The emails that sting. The meetings that don't go well. All of it will still be waiting. But you'll be different. You'll carry something new with you. Or not new exactly, something remembered. Something reclaimed. You'll walk through the city with your chin lifted. You'll wear colors that make you feel certain. You'll take up space without apologizing. You'll dance when you feel like dancing, even if no one's watching. Especially if no one's watching. You'll be brave enough to be seen. To be fully, completely yourself. Because you remember now. You remember what Margot taught you. That the woman you're meant to be isn't someone you have to become. She's who you already are. She's been here all along, waiting for you to notice her. Waiting for you to stop being afraid of her. Waiting for you to put on the red lipstick and the pearls and look in the mirror and say, yes, this is me. This is who I am. Now you have. Your breathing slows. Deepens. Sleep is coming, soft and gentle, like a curtain falling at the end of a beautiful performance. But before you drift off completely, you whisper into the darkness. Thank you. To the theater. To Margot. To the dressing room. To the city that led you there. To yourself for being brave enough to walk through that door. Thank you. And somewhere in a theater across the city, in a dressing room with rose-colored walls, the lights around the vanity glow a little brighter. Just for a moment. Just long enough to say, "You're welcome. Come back anytime." You smile. And you sleep. And you dream of stages and starlight and silk dresses the color of midnight. And when you wake tomorrow, you'll remember. You'll always remember. In your dream, you're back at the theater. But it's different this time. The lobby is full of light, not harsh but warm and golden like honey poured through the air. The chandelier overhead is blazing with 100 tiny flames, each one reflected in the crystals, creating a galaxy of light across the ceiling. The carpet beneath your feet is soft, plush, and as you walk you notice you're wearing a gown. Not the midnight blue one from the dressing room, but something else. Something that feels like it was made specifically for you. The fabric whispers as you move. Silk, of course. Always silk. The color shifts in the light, hard to name. Something between champagne and starlight. Something that doesn't have a name yet. You move through the lobby, your hand trailing along the curved banister of the staircase. The wood is smooth and warm beneath your palm, polished by decades of hands. All the actresses and singers and dancers who climbed these stairs before their performances, their hearts beating fast with excitement and nerves and that particular electricity that comes from knowing you're about to be seen. You climb the stairs. On the landing, the walls are lined with portraits now. Paintings in ornate frames, each one showing a woman in costume. Some you recognize from the photographs you saw earlier. Others are new. Or perhaps they were always there and you're only seeing them now. Each woman in each portrait looks directly out at you. Not confrontationally, but with a kind of quiet knowing. Like they're saying, "We've been where you are. We understand. You're one of us now." You pause in front of one portrait. The woman is wearing a gown similar to yours and she's standing on a stage mid-performance, her arms extended as if she's just finished a song. Her expression is radiant. Completely alive. The nameplate on the frame reads, Margot Wilde, 1982. You smile. "Hello," you whisper to the painting. And though her expression doesn't change, you feel as though she's smiling back. You continue up the stairs higher than you went before. Past the balcony level. Past the projection booth. Higher still to a part of the theater you didn't know existed. At the top of the stairs is a door. Simple, painted white with a crystal doorknob that catches the light. You turn the knob and step through. The room beyond is like nothing you've seen in the theater before. It's circular with windows all around, tall, arched windows that look out onto the city. But the city you see through these windows isn't quite the same city you walked through tonight. It's softer, more dreamlike. The lights are brighter, more colorful. Buildings you don't recognize stand next to ones you do. Streets curve in ways that don't quite make sense but feel exactly right. It's the city as it exists in your imagination. The city as you've always wanted it to be. Full of possibility and magic and beautiful, unexpected moments. In the center of the room is a wardrobe. Not a costume rack, an actual wardrobe, tall and elegant, made of dark wood with brass fittings. The doors are slightly open and from inside comes a soft, golden glow. You walk toward it. When you open the wardrobe doors fully, you find it's not filled with clothes. Well, not only clothes. There are garments, yes, beautiful things on hangers, each one more lovely than the last. But there are other things too. Books with gilt-edged pages. Journals with leather covers. Pairs of shoes. Dancing shoes, walking shoes, shoes for running through rain. Hats and scarves and gloves. Perfume bottles and compacts and tubes of lipstick in every color imaginable. And at the very back, hanging as if it's been waiting for you, is a coat. Not the charcoal one you tried on earlier. This one is different. It's velvet, deep midnight blue, almost black but not quite. When the light catches it, you see hints of purple, of indigo, of the color the sky turns just after sunset. The lining is silk in palest gold. There are pockets deep and practical. The buttons are mother of pearl. It's the most beautiful coat you've ever seen. You reach out and touch it. The velvet is impossibly soft, like touching a cloud, like touching moonlight. You take it off the hanger and slip it on. It fits perfectly. Of course it does. It was made for you. Not made in the sense of constructed by someone's hands, but made in the sense of created by the universe specifically for this moment. For you exactly as you are. You fasten the buttons. Slide your hands into the pockets. They're exactly the right depth, and when you put your hands in them, your fingers close around something. Paper. You pull it out. It's a note, written in elegant handwriting on thick cream-colored paper. My dear, this coat is yours now. It always has been, really. It was just waiting for you to be ready to claim it. When you wear it, remember, you are allowed to take up space in the world. You are allowed to walk through the city as if you own it, not in arrogance but in quiet confidence. You are allowed to exist exactly as you are, without apology, without making yourself smaller for anyone's comfort. The world will try to tell you otherwise. It will try to convince you that you need to wait, to prepare more, to become someone else before you're worthy of taking up space. Don't listen. You're ready now. You've always been ready. Walk in beauty. Walk in certainty. Walk like the woman you are. With love, Margot. You fold the note carefully and tuck it back into the pocket. When you look up, you see that the room has changed. The windows are showing something different now. Not the city but scenes. Moments. You step closer to one window. Through the glass you see yourself. Tomorrow's self. Walking through the city in the morning wearing this coat. The sun is shining and you're moving with purpose, your stride confident. Someone on the street turns to look at you, not in judgment but in admiration. And you don't shrink from it. You don't duck your head or apologize with your posture. You just keep walking, a small smile playing at your lips. Another window shows a different moment. You're in a meeting, the kind that usually makes you anxious, but in this version you're speaking clearly. Your voice is steady. Your ideas are met with interest, with respect. And when the meeting ends, you gather your things without rushing, without that familiar flutter of anxiety. Because you know you did well. You know you belong there. Another window. You're in a bookshop pulling a volume off the shelf. The owner asks if you need help, and instead of mumbling and moving away, you engage in conversation. You talk about what you're looking for, what you love, what you think. And the owner listens, really listens, and recommends something you end up loving. Another, you're at home writing. The journal that's been closed for months is open now, and your pen is moving across the page. You're writing about tonight, about the theater, about who you discovered yourself to be. And as you write, you understand more clearly. The act of writing makes it real, makes it permanent. Another, you're dancing in your living room, music playing, no one watching. Just you moving for the pure joy of it. No self-consciousness. No worry about whether you look foolish. Just movement and music and the pleasure of being alive in your body. Window after window, each showing a different moment of your life. Not a different life, your life. But lived fully. Lived bravely. Lived by someone who remembers what the dressing room taught her. You step back from the windows, your heart full. This is what's possible. This is what's waiting for you if you're brave enough to claim it. Not a fantasy. Not a dream. Just your actual life, lived without fear. Lived as the woman you've always been, underneath all the doubt and the trying to be small. You turn back to the wardrobe. The other items inside seem to glow more brightly now, as if they're calling to you. You reach in and pull out a journal, small enough to fit in the coat pocket, bound in soft leather the color of burgundy wine. When you open it, the pages are thick and cream-colored, completely blank, waiting for your words. You tuck it into your pocket. You reach in again and find a pen. Not just any pen, but a beautiful one, heavy and balanced, the kind that makes you want to write just from the pleasure of holding it. Into the pocket it goes. A lipstick, yes, red of course. The same shade you wore in the dressing room or close enough. A small vial of perfume, the scent that filled the dressing room. Roses and amber and confidence. A silk scarf, soft as a whisper, patterned with stars. Each item you take becomes part of you, part of your armor, part of your toolkit for being brave in the world. When the pockets are full, not heavy but pleasantly weighted, you step back and look at the wardrobe one more time. There are still more things inside. Still more treasures waiting. But you understand now that you don't need to take everything at once. The wardrobe will be here. Whenever you need something, whenever you need a reminder or a tool or a piece of courage, you can come back. In your dreams. In your imagination. In the quiet moments before sleep when you close your eyes and remember the dressing room. You can always come back. You walk to the center of the room and look out the windows one more time. The city glows beyond the glass, waiting for you. Your city. Your life. And you realize you're not afraid anymore. Not of being seen. Not of taking up space. Not of being fully, completely yourself. Because you remember now. You remember what Margot showed you. What the dressing room revealed. What you've always known deep down but were too afraid to believe. You are enough. Exactly as you are. Right now. In this moment. You don't need to wait until you're thinner, smarter, more accomplished, more prepared. You don't need to become someone else before you're allowed to live the life you want. You're allowed to live it now. You're allowed to wear the beautiful coat and walk through the city like you own it. You're allowed to speak up in meetings and take up space and exist without apology. You're allowed to write in the journal and dance in your living room and wear red lipstick on a Tuesday for no reason except that it makes you feel certain. You're allowed to be brave. You've always been allowed. The room begins to fade, soft and gentle like watercolors bleeding into each other. The windows blur. The wardrobe dims. The light grows softer, warmer, more like candlelight, like lamplight. Like the gentle glow of early morning sun filtering through curtains. You feel yourself sinking, floating, drifting. Back down through the theater. Past the portraits on the stairs. Through the lobby with its chandelier. Out the front door and onto the street. Through the city with its glowing lights. Back to your building, your hallway, your door. Back to your bed where your body has been resting all along. You're not quite awake yet, but not quite asleep either. You're in that in-between place, that soft liminal space where dreams and waking blur together. And in this space you can still feel the coat. The weight of it on your shoulders. The silk lining against your skin. The items in the pockets. The journal, the pen, the lipstick, the perfume, the scarf. You know, in the way you know things in dreams. That when you wake up you won't actually be wearing the coat. It will still be in the wardrobe in that circular room in the theater that exists somewhere between dreaming and waking. But you'll remember it. You'll remember how it felt. And that will be enough. Because the coat isn't really a coat. It's a reminder. A symbol. A way of moving through the world. And you can wear that anytime. Anywhere. Always. Your breathing is slow now. Even. Sleep is pulling you down gently, like sinking into warm water, like being held. And as you sink, you hear a voice. Margot's voice, though she's not in the room with you. She's somewhere else. Somewhere in the theater or in your memory or in that place where all the brave women who came before you gather to watch over the ones coming after. She's speaking softly like a blessing, like a lullaby. Sleep now, darling. Rest. You've done beautifully tonight. You found your way to the dressing room. You looked in the mirror and saw yourself clearly. You tried on different versions of yourself and discovered they're all you. You danced. You climbed to the roof and looked at the lights and understood that you belong here in this city, in this life. You remembered who you are. And tomorrow when you wake, you'll carry that remembering with you. Not perfectly, you'll forget sometimes, we all do. The world is loud and demanding and it's easy to lose yourself in it. But you'll have the memory of tonight. You'll have the dressing room always in your mind. Whenever you need it, you can close your eyes and come back. Put on the lipstick. Wear the pearls. Try on the coat. Dance in the rehearsal room. Sit on the roof and remember. You'll have the wardrobe with all its treasures. The journal waiting for your words. The pen that makes writing a pleasure. The perfume that smells like confidence. The scarf patterned with stars. You'll have me in a way. Not as a person you can talk to, but as a voice in your memory reminding you, you are brave. You are enough. You are allowed to take up space. And you'll have yourself. The woman you met tonight. The woman you've always been. She's not going anywhere. She's you. So sleep, darling. Sleep deeply. Dream beautifully. And when you wake, step into the world wearing your invisible coat. Walk like you own the city. Because you do. The voice fades. The last traces of the dream dissolve like sugar in water, like stars fading at dawn. And you sleep. Deeply. Peacefully. Held by the knowledge that you are exactly who you need to be. The night deepens around you. In your sleep you're dreaming still, but the dreams have changed. They're no longer vivid scenes or specific moments. They've become something softer. More abstract. More feeling than image. You dream in textures. Silk against skin. Velvet under fingertips. The weight of pearls. The smoothness of lipstick. You dream in colors. Midnight blue. Rose gold. Deep burgundy. The particular shade of light that comes from old bulbs around a dressing room mirror. You dream in sensations. The feeling of standing taller. Of walking with purpose. Of taking up space without apologizing. Of being seen and not shrinking from it. You dream in music. Piano melodies that sound like memory. Orchestral swells that sound like possibility. The quiet between notes that sounds like peace. These dreams ask nothing of you. They simply exist, washing over you like waves, like breath, like the gentle rhythm of your own heartbeat. Somewhere in the deepest part of the night, that hour when the world is most quiet, when even the city seems to pause and take a breath, something shifts. In your dream, you're standing in the dressing room again. But this time you're not alone. The room is full of women. Dozens of them, maybe hundreds, though the space doesn't feel crowded. They're all ages, all eras. Some wear costumes from productions long past. Some wear street clothes from different decades. Some wear gowns, some wear rehearsal clothes. Some wear the simple elegance of a perfectly tailored coat. But they all have one thing in common. They all look at home here. They all belong. You recognize some of them. Margot, of course, standing by the piano smiling. The laughing woman from the photograph. Others from the portraits on the stairs. But most of them are strangers. Women you've never met. Women who sat in this same chair at this same vanity, preparing to step into the light. Women who came to this place seeking the same thing you did. A reminder of who they really are. None of them speak. They don't need to. Their presence says everything. Says you're one of us now. You're part of this lineage. This tradition of women who choose to be brave, to be seen, to be fully themselves. Says we've been waiting for you. Says, welcome home. Margot steps forward. She's holding something in her hands. A small box, velvet covered, the deep green of the dressing room chair. She opens it. Inside, nestled in silk, is a key. Not a modern key. An old one, ornate, brass and slightly tarnished with age. The kind of key that opens important doors. Treasure chests. Secrets. This, Margot says softly, is for you. You take the key. It's warm in your palm, heavier than you expected. What does it open, you ask? Margot smiles. Whatever you need it to open. A new chapter. A new way of seeing yourself. A new life. Or perhaps just a new morning where you wake up remembering who you are. She closes your fingers around the key. Keep it safe. You'll know when you need to use it. You nod, though you don't fully understand. But that's all right. Some gifts aren't meant to be understood immediately. Some gifts reveal themselves slowly over time. The other women begin to fade. Not disappearing exactly. Just becoming translucent, like they're made of light, like they're becoming memory. But before they fade completely, each one does something. Small gestures, small gifts. One woman touches your shoulder as she passes, and you feel a surge of confidence flow into you. Another smiles at you and you feel seen in a way that makes your heart swell. Another places her hand over your heart for just a moment, and you feel courage settle there, warm and steady. One by one they offer you something. Strength, grace, resilience, joy. The particular kind of bravery it takes to be vulnerable. The particular kind of power that comes from knowing yourself completely. And you receive it all. Every gift. Every blessing. Every small piece of wisdom earned by women who came before you and walked this same path. You are not alone. You have never been alone. You are part of a long line of women who chose to be brave. Who chose to be themselves fully and without apology. Who chose to step into the light even when they were afraid. And now it's your turn. Margot is the last to fade. She stands before you, looking at you with such warmth, such pride. You did beautifully, she says. Coming here. Opening yourself to this. Remembering. Will I see you again, you ask. Always, she says. Every time you close your eyes and come back to this room. Every time you need to remember who you are. I'll be here. We all will be. She reaches out and touches your cheek, gentle as a breath. But you won't need us as much as you think. Because you have yourself now. The version of you that you met tonight. She's not going anywhere. I'm scared I'll forget, you whisper. You won't, Margot says with certainty. Not completely. You might forget sometimes in moments of stress or doubt. But the memory will always be there waiting for you to come back to it. Like a favorite song you haven't heard in years. As soon as the first note plays, you remember every word. She steps back, her form beginning to shimmer, to fade. Be brave, darling, she says. Be gloriously, unapologetically yourself. The world needs you exactly as you are. And then she's gone. You're alone in the dressing room now. But it doesn't feel lonely. It feels peaceful. Sacred. You look around one more time, memorizing every detail. The rose-colored walls. The vanity with its lights. The velvet chair. The pearls draped over the mirror. The silk rose in the vase. The photograph of the laughing woman. The wardrobe in the corner. Its doors open just a crack, golden light spilling out. You walk to the mirror and look at yourself one last time. And you see her clearly. The woman you are. The woman you've always been. Brave and beautiful and wholly, completely yourself. You smile at your reflection. And your reflection smiles back. The dressing room begins to fade. Gentle as fog lifting, as darkness giving way to dawn. But before it fades completely, you hear music. distant beautiful. The sound of an orchestra tuning. The sound of an audience settling into their seats. The sound of possibility. And you understand, the performance is about to begin. Not on a stage. Not in a theater. But in your life. In the regular, ordinary, extraordinary world. Your life is the performance. And you are ready. The dream dissolves completely now. You drift in pure, peaceful darkness. No images. No scenes. Just rest. Just the deep, restorative sleep your body needs. Hours pass. The night moves slowly toward morning. And through it all you sleep. Held by the knowledge that you are safe. That you are enough. That when morning comes you will wake up changed. Not dramatically but definitively. You will wake up remembering. And then, gently, softly, like the first light of dawn touching the horizon, you begin to wake. Not suddenly. Not with an alarm or a jolt. But naturally. Your body knowing it's had enough rest. Your mind rising slowly from the depths of sleep like a diver coming up through clear water. Your eyes are still closed but you're aware now. Aware of the weight of the blankets, the softness of the pillow, the cool morning air on your face. You take a breath, deep and slow, and you remember. Not everything, not with perfect clarity. Dreams fade as they always do. But you remember the feeling, the essence. You remember the dressing room, the mirror, the lights. Margot's voice, warm and knowing. You remember the coat, the wardrobe, you remember the most important thing. Who you are when you're brave enough to see yourself clearly. You open your eyes. The room is filled with soft, early light. The particular quality of light that comes just after dawn, when the world is new and everything feels possible. You lie there for a moment, not moving, just being. Present in this moment, in this body, in this life that is yours. You notice how you feel. Rested, yes. But more than that. Clear. Awake in a way that has nothing to do with sleep and everything to do with awareness. You feel like yourself. Fully. Completely. Not the self who apologizes for taking up space. Not the self who makes herself small. Not the self who waits to be ready before claiming her own life. The self who knows she's already ready. Who's always been ready. You sit up slowly. The movement feels different somehow. More intentional. Like you're inhabiting your body more fully. You swing your legs out of bed, feet touching the cool floor. You stand. And as you stand, you remember the feeling of wearing the coat from the wardrobe. The weight of it on your shoulders. The way it made you stand taller, walk differently. You're not wearing the coat now. Of course you're not, it was a dream, but you can still feel it. Like muscle memory. Like your body remembers what it felt like to move through the world with that kind of confidence. You walk to your dresser. Open the drawer. And there, tucked among your other things, is the lipstick. The berry-colored one you wore last night after you came home from the theater. Or thought you came home. Or dreamed you came home. Real or dream, it doesn't matter. The lipstick is real enough. You pick it up. Uncap it. Apply it to your lips, even though it's early morning and you have nowhere to be. Because you deserve to wear beautiful things. Not just for special occasions. Not just when someone will see. For you. Because it makes you feel certain. Because it reminds you of who you are. You look at yourself in the mirror. And there she is. The woman from the dressing room. The woman you discovered last night. The woman you've always been. She looks back at you with steady eyes. And you think, good morning. You move through your morning routine differently. Not rushed. Not distracted. Not already thinking about all the things you need to do, all the ways you might fail, all the reasons to be anxious. Just present. Attending to each small task with care. You make coffee and actually taste it instead of drinking it mindlessly while scrolling through your phone. You choose your clothes intentionally, not just grabbing whatever's clean but selecting things that make you feel like yourself. The blouse that makes you feel put together. The pants that fit well. The scarf that adds a touch of elegance. Small choices. But they matter. Because every small choice to honor yourself, to treat yourself like someone worthy of care and attention and beauty, every small choice reinforces the truth you learned last night. You are worthy. Exactly as you are. Right now. When you're ready, you put on your coat, your regular coat, the one you've worn 100 times, and you prepare to leave your apartment. But before you do, you pause. You close your eyes and take a breath. And in your mind, you return to the dressing room. Just for a moment. Just long enough to remember. The rose-colored walls. The lights around the mirror. Margot's smile. The wardrobe with its treasures. The key warm in your palm. You remember. And when you open your eyes, you're smiling. You step out of your apartment. Lock the door. Walk down the hallway to the elevator. The building is the same as it was yesterday. The carpet is still worn. The wallpaper is still faded. But you're different. You're walking differently. Standing taller. Taking up space without apologizing for it. The elevator arrives. You step in. Press the button for the ground floor. And as the elevator descends, you catch your reflection in the polished metal of the doors. You look good. Not perfect. Not transformed into someone else. Just yourself. Fully. Completely. And that's more than enough. You step out onto the street. The city is waking up around you. People heading to work. Shop owners unlocking their doors. The smell of coffee and fresh bread from a nearby cafe. The sound of traffic, of voices, of life happening. You join the flow of people on the sidewalk. And as you walk, you remember what Margot said. Walk like you own the city. So you do. Not arrogantly. Not performatively. Just confidently. Like you belong here. Because you do. People pass you on the street. Most don't notice you. They're lost in their own thoughts, their own lives. But a few do. You catch someone's eye and smile, and they smile back. Someone holds a door for you and you thank them, your voice clear and warm. A child points at your scarf and says, "Pretty," to their parent, and you say, "Thank you, sweetheart," and the child beams. Small moments. Small connections. But they remind you, you are part of this world. This city. This great, messy, beautiful web of human lives intersecting. You are not separate. You are not less than. You are not waiting to be worthy of participating. You are here. Now. Part of it all. You pass the park where you sat last night. The benches are empty now, waiting for the day's visitors. The fountain is still off, but there's something beautiful about it anyway. Something patient. Like it knows it will run again when the time is right. You keep walking. And as you walk, you notice yourself noticing things. The way you did last night. The way morning light catches in a shop window. The way someone has arranged flowers outside a bodega, bright and cheerful. The way an old couple walks together, their steps perfectly synchronized after what must be decades of walking side by side. Beauty everywhere. Small and quiet and easily missed if you're not paying attention. But you're paying attention now. You're awake. Present. Here. You're not sure where you're going. Maybe to work. Maybe to a cafe to sit and write in a journal you're going to buy. Maybe just walking for the pleasure of it, for the joy of moving through the city as yourself. It doesn't matter. What matters is this. You're not afraid anymore. You're not afraid of being seen. Not afraid of taking up space. Not afraid of being fully, completely, unapologetically yourself. Because you remember. You remember the dressing room. You remember Marco's voice. You remember the coat and the key and the wardrobe full of treasures. You remember what it feels like to look in the mirror and see yourself clearly without judgment, without the weight of all the stories you've been told about who you should be. You remember what it feels like to be brave. And you're going to carry that remembering with you. Today. Tomorrow. Always. The sun climbs higher in the sky. The city grows busier. The day unfolds. And you're part of it. Walking through it. Living it. Not perfectly. You'll forget sometimes. You'll have moments of doubt, of fear, of falling back into old patterns. But that's okay. Because you know now that you can always return. Close your eyes. Remember the dressing room. Remember who you are. The woman who wears red lipstick and pearls. The woman who dances for the joy of it. The woman who walks through the city like she owns it. The woman who is brave enough to be seen. The woman you are. And so you walk. Into the morning. Into your life. Into yourself. And somewhere in a theater across the city, or perhaps in a theater that exists only in dreams, only in the space between sleeping and waking, a dressing room waits. The lights around the mirror glow softly. The pearls rest on the vanity. The silk rose sits in its vase. The door is unlocked. Waiting for the next woman who needs to remember who she is. Waiting always to say welcome. You are exactly who you need to be. You are enough. You are ready. Step into the light. The world is waiting for you. Sleep now. Rest. Dream of stages and starlight and silk. And when you wake, whenever you wake, remember. You are brave. You are beautiful. You are exactly enough. Always.